All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And Shalom to your brothers that are laboring and pushing this word in truth and sincerity and with charity. I'm the brother Abraham from the camp here in GMS Chicago. Coming back at you with another lesson. Lord willing to be edifying. And in this video, I want to go into Daniel, the 3rd chapter. All right, which is a story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who denied to worship the image of Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, and what's interesting is that we're gonna come into a time in our time in the very near future in which a similar situation will take place, in which Revelations 13 goes into the image of the beast, the mark of the beast, all right, which is the New World Order. And in order for you to operate and be a part of this world and in this society, you will have to have that mark of the beast, which is the microchip. Okay. And those who don't have faith, that trust in Egypt, that trust in Pharaoh, will take that chip. But you have those of the elect who are not going to be deceived, who are going to have unwavering faith in the Lord in those times. Okay. So what I have here is Google AI for Daniel, the 3rd chapter. Okay. Daniel 3 tells the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who defied King Nebuchadnezzar's command to worship a golden idol. They were thrown into a blazing furnace, but were miraculously protected by a fourth figure, resembling a son of the gods, emerging completely unharmed, which that was ultimately Yahweh Shai. Okay. It says core theological meanings: unwavering faith and courage. The men chose obedience to God even when facing certain death, famously declaring that even if God didn't save them, they would not bow to the idol. All right, which the Lord ultimately did save them. All right, and you have a similar situation in the 2nd book of Maccabees. All right, the 7 children, the 7 sons, the mother, who were pretty much boiled alive. Okay, they died in faith. They died in faith, believing in the Lord would, come back again. And he told that wicked ass Edomite, all right, that he would not take part in the resurrection. Okay. So the next one, it says the 4th man, the mysterious figure in the fire, is widely viewed as a pre-incarnate appearance of Yahushai, or an angel, symbolizing God's active presence with his people during their darkest trials. Right? And you have to have faith that he is with you, that he is with us even in the darkest of times. Okay, look at the story of Esther. Okay, and how that story was playing out. It looked like all the Jews were gonna be wiped out. All right, it looked like wicked ass Haman was gonna have his way. But at the end, the Lord flipped it, turned the tables on him. Okay? It says, sovereignty of God. The story demonstrates that God's authority is absolute, transcending the power and decrees of earthly rulers, right? Because it's the Lord that puts the rulers in power, and He takes them out of power. All right, prophetic symbolism. Many scholars and theologians draw a parallel between this forced worship and the events of the end times, comparing Nebuchadnezzar's statue to the ultimate demands of secular and tyrannical world systems, as referenced as Revelation 13. Right? So this is Daniel 3. In 1, it says, Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. Okay? It says, Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather the princes, the governors, and the captains, and the judges, and the treasurers, and the counselors, and the sheriffs, and the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image of which Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. All right, so they came, they gathered, and they worshipped. All right, and they announced that when you hear pretty much all the music that you're hearing now, that is when you fall down and worship the image that Nebuchadnezzar had made. And this is verse 6. It says, And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of the burning fury furnace. All right. So that was the punishment if you didn't. All right. It says, this is verse 8. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said unto the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. So notice how, this happens often. They try to accuse the Jews, right? Same thing happened during the Persian Empire, right? In the book of Nehemiah and the book of Ezra, right? These Jews are not like us, and they're gonna rebel. They're gonna try and take over your kingdom. We got to do something about these people. Now you have vocab trying to pretty much do the same thing. He's in the spirit of those accusers, okay, as it was during the time of Haman, during the time of Nehemiah, Ezra, and now here as well. So you're always going to have these accusers, right? The accuser of thy brethren, right? That's in the book of Revelation. Okay, let's go on. All right, verse 12, it says, There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and his fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, right, and all the music, right, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, But if ye worship not, ye shall be cast in the same hour into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Right? So he said that very pridefully. Right? And this is one of the reasons why the Lord judged his ass, and gave him the heart of a beast. Right? So that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. Right? But let's go on. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this manner. So they weren't scared to reply to him, defending themselves and why they didn't bow down. Right? It says, if it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Alright, now let me get a quick precept here, because this is the type of spirit that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had. Let's see. Where is it? Sirach 4:28. Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. So they strove for the truth, for the Lord, unto death. They were in that position to die if the Lord allowed it to happen. But they had that unwavering faith. Alright, and the Lord fought for them. It says, then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. So they turned up the heat 7 times more. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So they got burned up. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king, astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake and said unto the counselors, did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, true, O king. He answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and no form of the fourth, and the form of the fourth is like the Son of God. Right? Let me get a quick precept here. In Isaiah, I believe it's 43. Yeah. Let me start at 1. It says, but now, thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. Right? Letting you know that the Lord, during the most troublous, darkest times, is with you. And you have to believe that, man. Okay? You have to have faith in the Lord. continue. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fury furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth out of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and cabinets, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Imagine that. Let's get Luke 21. And 18. But there shall not an hair of your head perish, and your patience possess ye your souls. Right? So it's all about patience, having faith, going through that trial, going through those sufferings. Alright? But the Lord got your back. He'll fight for you if you strive for the truth unto death. Okay? Let's get one more. In Revelations, or Romans 7. Or which scripture was it? It's a lot. Romans 11:4. But what saith the answer of God unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Even so then at this present time also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. So just like during the time of Elias, even so now the Lord reserved has a remnant that will not bow to the image of Baal, in this case the image of the beast, that new world order, that won't take that microchip, okay, at this present time. So this is the parallels between the time of Daniel and many other stories in the scriptures to now. Alright. But I'm going to end it there. Lord willing, this video was edifying. As always, our honor, glory, and praises goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashum, Yahushai, Ba'ashum, Rakakudash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Until the next time, Shalom.